Hey, Cam, some of the 49ers players were complaining that the MetLife turf was sticky or thick. Did you feel like that turf was dangerous? And then the second part of my question was, were you worried that there might be more injuries this year just because of the way the offseason was structured?
Yeah, along with MetLife, I think it really didn't cross my mind, to be honest. I was able to still get up in there and get a pick, but along with that, I kind of expected there'd be some injuries, just off of the previous history when we had the lockout, and we weren't able to have those OTAs and preseason, or we did have preseason, but we didn't have OTAs. So bodies are just adjusting. I know we did lose Zach Banner week 1 on that field, and then you see what's going on that field. So, you're definitely seeing torn ACLs back-to-back weeks. So we all just got to be aware of it.
Let's go to Mark Caboli. Mark, go ahead.
Hey, Cam, you got some high-profile players on defense yourself, TJ, Bud, Minka. But how much does a guy like Mike Hilton mean to what you guys were able to do and what you want to do defensively?
Mike brings another element to the, equation. We only can get pressure with our front four and our inside linebackers. We're able to bring a corner or a nickel into place that, can dislodge the ball and can set the edge in the run game and, create havoc on a quarterback. I remember years ago when we were playing Houston, I think he had like 3 sacks, and I was like, this dude can really get after the passer, and he's in the right spot at the right time. But you look around the league, and not a lot of people can do what he does. So he's definitely very skilled at this craft.
All right, we'll go next to Dale Lally. Dale, go ahead. Cam, you just referenced that game against the Texans a couple of years ago. You guys had 7 sacks. Watson on that day. I'm sure you've watched tape of him. Has he progressed in terms of his ability to diagnose things a little bit more quickly?
Well, last time we played, Watson didn't play. It was TJ Yates. But, they were dealing with the injury at the time. But, you see what they have now. I remember when I would just go back in Georgia and hang out with my brothers, they would always tell me about Deshaun and say how good of a kid he was and even a better player. And, we got our work cut out for us. He's able to fight for extra yards. He really is worthy of being one of the top quarterbacks in our league.
All right, let's go to Brooke Pryor of ESPN. Brooke, go ahead.
Hey, Cam, you guys are blitzing 64% of the time this season was the stat I saw this morning. It's the highest in the league. When we talked to Coach Tomlin yesterday, he said that, that's not necessarily indicative of what you guys are going to do all season at this point. But from your perspective, can you guys keep up this high rate of blitzing, especially seeing how successful it's been so far?
It's been successful, but, you can't get into a situation where you're just blitzing all the time. I think we got to make sure we mix it up, whether it's 4-man or 3-man rushing groups. But, that's just the flavor of the cake this week. We got to make sure we continue to do our jobs. When we do blitz, we got to hit home. When we don't blitz, we got to get pressure of 4 or 3.
All right, let's go to Mike Prisuta. Mike, go ahead.
Cam, if I've got this figured out right, you have 8 guys contributing to your 10 sacks as a defense and 10 guys contributing to your 22 tackles for a loss. How encouraging is that?
It's a positive stat. Both of them are. Shows that it's not just one guy doing the work. We like to do this as a collective unit. When one guy, gets the sack or the pressure, it's usually because we have a lot of other guys doing their jobs. And along with that, that's in the passing game, that's in the running game. We like to communicate a lot. So I think doing that allows us to play fast, have confidence in each other, But it's only been 2 weeks. I'm not going to get ahead of myself and think that we've accomplished anything. We have to be a defense on the rise. We have to continue to improve week in and week out. And we got to test on our hands with Watson, David Johnson. They got 2 first-round tackles out there. And so we got to make sure we take the game to them.
All right, Tim Benz. Tim, go ahead.
Cam, you just mentioned Johnson. When it comes to stopping the run, what do the Texans like to do to get him going? And why do you think Denver was a bit more effective running the ball against you guys than New York?
I think with David Johnson, he looks a little bit more shiftier this year. You can tell he's definitely got his feet under him. He's had a myriad of injuries in the past, but he's really starting to get his legs under him and able to finish a lot of plays. You look at that the KC game. There's one run where he literally shakes in the backfield and shakes off, and then literally bounces it out. And it just seems like he's really got a good understanding, a better feel for the game now. Finally getting back in the groove of things. But for us, we weren't as sound as we need to be. There are a couple times if we had stayed in our gaps and got off the field a little bit quicker, I think they abandoned the run. I think early on they were able to sustain a couple runs and, compound run after run. But if we can stay on it and stay as a unit that has 11 guys flying to the ball, I think we'll be fine.
All right, let's go to Jim Wexel. Jim, go ahead.
Yeah, Kim, in regard to Tyson Alulu, have you heard the name Kimo von Oelhoffen being invoked by any of the old coaches? I don't think you remember him. And what is he doing so well this year?
Well, I got to meet Kimo before, and he's been a heck of a player. Coach Mitch has always told me about Kimo, and he had a mean club, but Tyson is just it's not only just the teammate he is, it's the player he's become. He's so sound for us. He's given a level of consistency that we've gotten accustomed to having with Javon Hargrave. But now to have Tyson in there, not only picking up the slack but making it his own, and we're very grateful to have Tyson. Tyson is a guy that we all want to see succeed, and he's proven us right. He works his tail off, comes in great shape. It's not always easy to go from playing DN to nose tackle in a matter of a year. But Tyson's bought in, and he's a heck of a teammate. I don't think anybody really talks about it enough. Tyson has always been a guy that has always put team first, and we're lucky to have him.
All right, let's go to Jenna Harner. Jenna, go ahead.
Cam, you kind of touched on a couple things, but for you guys as a defensive unit as a whole, what's the biggest focus ahead of the Texans?
I think rush lanes. Deshaun will make you pay if you give him more time, and he's got some really good receivers and Fuller and Randall Cobb. We got to make sure we take care of our business, take care of our rush lanes. But to get to that, you got to stop the run. I've always been a firm believer. If you can make a team one-dimensional, then you can really light your hair on fire. We can still pass.
All right, let's go to Aditi Kinkabala. Aditi, go ahead.
Hi, Cam. Going back to the blitzing and the way that you all blitz, Mike Tomlin had said that philosophically, you essentially want anybody to be capable of blitzing. Is it true that really any of the 11 of you can go? And what is that conversation like? I mean, are guys – I understand that you have to play base too, but are guys raising their hand? Does everybody want to be the blitzer?
We have certain guys that love to be the blitzer, and those are usually our blitzers. But sometimes we got to, say calm down. We got to set it up. But I think we have a couple of guys, we don't want to blitz our field corner. Joe or Steve, they do an amazing job on the back end. We'll blitz Minka and Terrell sometimes. You see Terrell got the big sack to end the game. But, when we get to that, you can't just slide your O-line one way, because we could be coming from so many different ways. And then it allows us to get one-on-ones in the pass rush game. And that's when we can really make you pay.
All right, let's go to Joe Rutter. Joe, go ahead.
Yeah, hi, Cam. Being Big Ten guys, when you and JJ came out of the draft in 2011, did you guys have any kind of relationship back then? And what does it mean that you guys are both going strong here 10 years later?
Yeah, it's funny. We had actually worked out in Arizona at Exos before the draft. And we kind of went through the draft process together. Him going to Houston, I'd already congratulated him, and I knew he was a big Pittsburgh fan. I was from Pittsburgh, so we got to talking about that. But it's funny to see we've both had sustaining, long-lasting careers so far. But we don't think the job's done. I know JJ is a heck of a player, and I get to talking about TJ, and now we got Derek here. But we're all just trying to make a lasting imprint on our careers.
Let's go to Will Graves. Will, go ahead.
Hey, Cam, you kind of gave Kaboli stuff, it was last week, for making you feel old. I'm going to ask you a question that's going to try to make you feel young a little bit. Your quarterback, assuming he takes the field on Sunday, it'll be his 221st game. It's the most in franchise history. Considering who's played here, that's a pretty significant accomplishment. I'm just sort of curious, what does he mean to that group, your group specifically, and how have you seen him sort of evolve in the 10 years that you've been around?
So my only question to that was Ben with, the steel curtain. It seems like he's been playing forever. But it's a testament to what he's done. And, you don't just get there by playing those games, or, you have to be worthy of that record, and I think, you got to win at an all-time high level. You got to have a great amount of durability. To take the hits at quarterback in this league, you see a lot of guys drop in and drop out. I know he's coming off a big injury. Now he's playing at a high level again. But to keep doing it and, to be consistent in that approach, it's uncanny. There's only about 10 or so guys that are able to do that well.
All right, we got time for two more. We'll go to Brian Bacco. Brian, go ahead.
Hey, Cam. Yeah, you mentioned the Watts a little bit ago. Now that I guess we're 2 months in and 2 games into TJ and Derek being together here, and with JJ coming in on Sunday, how cool is it for you to see that as a guy with brothers of your own? And do you ever point to them, to your younger brother, to say, hey, if you work hard, we can potentially be up here in this league together like they are?
Yeah, I'm always hard on my little brother. And, I'm telling him, you got an opportunity to do this, but it requires a lot of work. When you look around the league, you got the Bosas, you got the Watts, you've had the Matthews, you've even got the Howie Long and Chris Long. But I got to meet Mr. Watt and Mrs. Watt not too long ago. And, they just come from a great family. It's truly a pleasure to watch them all work. To interact with all of them has been very special. They're very, family oriented. But when it comes to football, they take it very seriously. I know Daddy Watt has been working on them for a while, and they've made him right. So, it's going to be a true pleasure to see all three of them play. I think that's something they've always hoped for, but we finally get to make it happen.
All right, last one. We'll go back to Brooke. Go ahead, Brooke.
Hey, Cam, I wanted to go back to Aditi's question where you said some guys are raising their hands to blitz all the time. Who are some of those guys that are quick to put their hand up? And did Terrell specifically say, hey, I want to be the guy that's blitzing on that big 4th down stop on Sunday?
No, Terrell didn't really say that. But he was in the right place at the right time, and he made us all look right. But, you got the usual culprits. You got your Mike Hiltons and Vince Williams. They're usually leading the league at their position when it comes to sacks. So, they're always raising their hand for more. And our job is to make them look right. If they're coming, they should go scot-free, and they better get the sack.
Wanted to ask you the celebration that you came up with on Sunday with Deontay jumping into the crowd, pretending to be a fan. When did you cook that one up, or did it come to you on the spot?
It came to me on the spot. That one was actually, I think I thought about it right before the series because we scored once already, and then we were just doing another celebration. So we had one already in mind, and then the other one with Deontay, that was planned like right before. I was like, "Look, Deontay, when you score, for whoever scores, like I'm gonna jump in, be a fan, and you give me the ball." You know, I think that's unique because we miss our fans at Heinz Field, and it's just kind of symbolizing that the Steeler Nation fans, we miss you.
All right, let's move on to Mark Caboli. Mark, go ahead.
Hey, Juju, you've been in the slot probably 80% of the time this year, which is a unusual increase. What part of your game lends to being in the slot? Usually that's more for smaller guys other than maybe Larry Fitz. What part of your game makes that possible for you?
I mean, a lot of balls are being run inside, and that's something I can control, being a physical blocker, playing inside, and also, being able to know the ins and out. I think, we all can play the slot, but as of right now, just me having the most time playing inside, I'm very, very used to it, and it's very easy for me to go about. So, you'll see me play outside, inside, but yeah, I think majority of the time I'm inside.
All right, let's go to Brooke Pryor of ESPN. Go ahead, Brooke.
Hey, Juju, when we were talking with Ben this morning, he said that he started to see how good Chase Claypool could be at some of those off-season workouts at Robert Morris. When was it for you that it kind of dawned on you or you started to notice that Claypool could be really good? And is he maybe more advanced than you would expect a rookie receiver to be at this point in his career?
Him going to Notre Dame, I've seen him play a couple of times, and he's ahead of his time, and I think it's really good. I think at RMU, it was like our first time getting to see him play, but what really caught my eye was in training camp where he's running those space balls, running those deep balls, whip pads, going against the ones, and, pretty much, putting film on tape against our starting defense. So that I guess that was the time for me where I knew, like, okay, this kid can play, and obviously on Sunday he showed that.
Let's go to Jeff Hathorn. Jeff, go ahead.
Hey, Juju, obviously we know about J.J. Watt with that Texans defense. They have a mix of experience in that secondary with some younger guys. What can you tell us about the Texans D?
Roby, played against him when he was with the Broncos. So he's a familiar face. Hargreaves is also a familiar face, played against him at the Bucs. The other two safeties, those are guys that, they're just on tape, and the Texans are good. Although they're 0-2, they did lose to two teams that are really, really good. The Baltimore Ravens, obviously the defending champ Chiefs. So, we're going to this game, more than ready, and we're not going to take it easy. We never take no team for light, and we got to hold our defense. Playing home against them.
All right, let's go to Jenna Harner. Jenna, go ahead.
Juju, for you guys as an offense, what's your biggest area of focus heading into this week?
Man, we got to stop killing ourselves and hurting ourselves. And that's with penalties, turnovers, but by fumbling, throwing interceptions. Honestly, it's just more so just protecting the ball and just executing our plays. And, just attacking, making sure that we get, our defense off the field and put points on the board, so we're not playing catch up or we're trying to play safe. So, I think this week is more so, like I said, stop hurting ourselves, with easy mental mistakes.
Will Graves, go ahead, Will.
Hey, Juju, when your quarterback made his first start for the Steelers, you were 7 years old. On Sunday, he'll make his 221st. That's the most ever in franchise history. I'm just sort of curious, what do you make of his longevity, and how would you describe the relationship between you two as it's evolved over the last 3+ years?
That's crazy. 7 years old. I don't even know what I was. I think I was probably just running around the house. But that's really cool, man. I mean, congrats to him. He's lived, he's pretty much lived his dream. He accomplished everything that he wanted to do. Obviously, he still wants more, and then I'm happy to be a part of that. Growing up as a kid, watching him play, it was like, wow, Big Ben. And, I tell you guys all the time, like, there's moments in my life where I'm in a huddle and we drive down, and Ben, as a kid watching it, and seeing him in the huddle and, like, not really listening, I think I really know what's really going on. And then fast forward till I'm 20 years old, and now I'm in the huddle with him talking about this is what we're going to do. Let's go have fun. Let's go drive, win a game, and go home and celebrate. So it's really cool, man, that he's going to have this many starts. And, I mean, I wouldn't want to do it with any other quarterback.
We'll move on to Dale Lally. Dale, go ahead.
You mentioned Roby. They've used him to travel with the other team's top receiver the first couple of weeks here. Do you expect to see him if you travel into the slot with you? And if not, do you think he sticks with Deontay?
That's a very interesting question. Though. That's something that we've been talking about. Is he going to travel with me? Is he going to stay outside with Deontay? It's kind of up in the air. I mean, the past 2 weeks he's traveled with me, and he's played a lot of man-to-man work. So, I mean, if he comes inside the slot, that should be great for me. We played each other before, so I'm very interested to see what he brings to the table this year. And if he doesn't, obviously he'll be either Deontay, Chase, or James Washington.
Joe Rudder. Joe, go ahead.
Hi, Juju. You got me?
We got you, Joe.
Okay. Hey, Ben was really critical this morning talking about his performance the last game. Said he needs to work on some things with release and footwork. Did you get a chance to catch him in practice today? Was he doing anything different? And do you think that he needs to work on some things?
One thing about Ben, man, like if he doesn't feel like he made a great enough throw, he's really tough on himself, and that's just the hard work, and that's just his mentality. He always wants everything to be great and perfect, and sometimes those might not come your way. It's something that he said that he has to work on, and obviously he's doing that. Obviously him, working with the QB coach on how he can perform this game and get better. Obviously that's something that's been going on too. So, and as you said, man, this is like year 15 for Ben. You're talking about a Hall of Fame quarterback who still needs to improve on his game, which is really cool that he's saying that he's not selfish.
All right, we'll go to Chris Adamski. Chris, go ahead.
Hey, Juju, I know you're doing your own thing, especially at practice and even during the games for that matter. But if Dave comes back, having him back in the field, is that noticeable to you? Is that something? I mean, he's been an all-pro. Does that add a piece to you back to your offense that's been missing the first 2 weeks?
Oh, yeah, for sure, man. Ever since I got here, I always paid close attention to Dave. And Dave's always been one of those guys. He doesn't say much, comes to practice, goes to work, do what he's supposed to do his job and assignment, and just go about his business. I mean, he's a really cool dude, man. Honestly, awesome guy to be around. Not just on the field, but off the field too. So having him back would be huge, win for us because Dave's a pro. He's a vet. This is what he does, and he's been doing it for a very long time.
All right, we got time for two more. We'll go to Brooke Pryor. Brooke, go ahead.
Hey, Juju, you guys have now played in two basically empty stadiums. I was curious, have you noticed trash talking between two teams being a lot different? I mean, are DBs saying less because it's quieter and more people can hear it? Is there any change there?
Honestly, from my point of view, receivers and DBs, not really for me. If you talk about one person who talks the most trash, I've never been a part of this, is Ebron. Ebron, oh my gosh, man, he's like no other. To the point where, literally in the huddle, we're trying to call the play, and he's talking trash. So, but hey, man, if it works for you and it helps you play better, I mean, why not?
All right, we'll wrap it up with Brian Backo. Brian, go ahead.
Yeah, Juju, so far through two games, Deontay is going crazy with targets. You've got a couple touchdowns. James has a touchdown, and a lot of fans want to see more from Chase, obviously, after his touchdown. Between the depth that you guys have in the receiving core, plus the tight ends, plus James, I mean, how is Ben going to be able to keep everybody happy over the course of a 16-game season?
For us, it's not more so about keeping people happy, man. It's about winning games. You win games. It goes a long way, and it just shows that you win the Super Bowl, everyone gets paid. At the end of the day, and that's with the Chiefs, they win the Super Bowl, everyone's getting paid. So at the end of the day, we all know we're all for each other and our brothers, and like Ben said, stay calm, stay patient, and when it comes your way, make a play, and that's what we do. And everyone's making a play. Deontay scored, Chase scored, I scored, James scored. Everyone's touching the ball, so. It is what it is. So we just want to win games and be happy and, get out of the stadium.